Elementary Basket Weaving. Today we're going to be working on our nested heart baskets, and I'll give you the cut pattern and the material you'll need for these baskets. You're going to need 1/4 inch flat oval, and take this and cut it 24 pieces that are 24 inches long. You're going to need 1/4 inch flat, and you can have this dyed, have it dyed before and ready to use. You're also going to need 1/2 inch flat and number 2 round. We're going to take our pieces. They've already been cut. We've already got them soaking. We're going to lay out 12 pieces underneath our book again. Lay 12 out going this way. You've already marked the centers, so you've got your center lines going. And then you're going to start weaving your other 12 pieces horizontally. You're going to, from your center marks here, you're going to weave 6 above it and 6 below your center marks. I'll finish weaving this one out. Again, it's just a very basic over-under pattern. Line up our center lines here. Not going to worry about spacing. I'm going to take my spacer, go back and do the spacing when I finish weaving all my pieces in. My spacer is just a piece of scrap 1/2 inch that I've got, and I'm going to mark it 1/2 inch spacer, keep it in my toolbox. Line up my center lines. When you do your spacing, take your spacer and work from the center to one side, come back and work to the center to the other side. 1/2 inch spacing. It looks larger in this basket than it did in a previous one, simply because our 1/4 inch is smaller. And we're going to work from the center up and then the center down. After you get this all done, we're going to clip the 4 corners so that it won't shift on us. Okay? Take your, oops, I see over here this needs to be, missed a spot. Draw it in. Then take your 4 clothespins and secure the outside corners. Now we have to draw our heart pattern on this basket. We don't need our book anymore. Kind of turn it this way so it's facing you like a diamond pattern. Take your pencil, start down here at the point. This is going to be the bottom point, and we're going to draw our heart pattern on this. Comes up around the corner. This is going to be our one corner here. I'm going to stop right about there. Draw it up here. I think you can see my marks. Come around here. Count back 6. Starting up here, we're going to count back 6 rows. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come down here, and here's our center. Here's our center down here. And this is going to be the center of our heart up here. So put a little dot up in there. Come back here. Now we have to unweave what we just did to form our heart. So we're going to clip this down here, come back here, and unweave these 5. Should be 5. Nope, 6. I'm going to unweave 6 of them. Take this group of 6. I need to correct that. It is 5. Our dots here, we're going to unweave 5 rows, not 6. Okay, then you're going to draw these 5 back and clamp it here on the side. Then we're going to go in and get our number 2 round. We've already got that soaking. Again, we have to have different end lengths. I want 2 different end lengths, so we'll end up at different spots. When we have to add our weavers, put our crimp up here. Just a hard squeeze. Come over here and to the right side of your basket and bring it around. Pick a center spot that again is under. We always start our twining on an under weave. Remember, our twining goes behind. Take the left piece, go behind the next spoke to the right. This is coming on woven here. Let's losing our shape a little bit. Have to straighten this out. We'll go over this corner again. This one slips underneath, so we have to draw and bring this one under first, then bring the right one over. Go back to the original pattern. Keep on twining around here. When you come to your corners, you can kind of round them out because a heart actually has round corners. Take off our clothespin. Keep twining. Again, we have another corner to do. It's a good time to check and make sure that it doesn't pull down. You need to come up here and go around this way and over. So we lock that corner in. Kind of losing the shape. Twining is something you'll really want to get down. We do use it in almost, well, not every basket, but almost every basket. Here we have another corner. This one's the opposite of the one I just did, so I'm bringing the one from behind over first, then the one to the left. When we get up to our center piece, right here where the heart shape goes back up, we're going to put a little twist in here. This makes a really nice Christmas present, hang on a wall, or birthday present, whatever the holiday. Okay, come in here and just put a little cross and a twist and keep right on going. We need to pick up these 5 and get them out of our way. Come over here and put this 5 back down. Put that little twist back in if it came out and keep right on twining. Let me do that little twist again here. This is my one that's on top. I'm going to cross it over, come up here and pick up the one to the right. So I've got a little twist in there. That's going to secure that little point because this is the top point of our heart. Straighten up your pieces if they come undone. And we have another corner. Okay, this one came undone right here. As you can see, I have 2 over, so I need to replace this. Put it back under. Line up my spacing again. Keep right on going. Watch my corner. Always be self-conscious of those corners. One more corner to do. Okay, watch your corner again. Let's, this one's getting really short. Let me show you again how to add that piece. We'll make it a little shorter. Twine one more time. Go back in and get your another piece of number 2 round. You could use number 3 on this if you prefer. It's a little bit heavier. The basket's a dainty basket, that's why I chose number 2. Come in here with this piece that you ran out of, lift it up, it creates a hole, and stick it right down in there and keep right on twining. Kind of hold it here with one of your fingers so you don't pull it out. Keep right on going. You're going to weave 3 rows. 3 seems to be a standard number to weave 3 nice rows around there. Let me go get the piece that I've already had woven and finished. Remember, I don't want to weave on the one that I've already looped on because that would start my 4th row. Right here's the one I looped on. So I'm going to end my weaving back one. Cut that off and just let them set inside. And then we have our rows of twining done. Now we're going to upset the basket. When you come to the corners, you want to clip the corners in. Upset it all the way around. This basket has a spiral going up the front sides of it that I'll show you in a minute. And the reason we do that is so that we can continue weaving all the way around without stopping and starting each row. Kind of work around these 5 in here that are hitting each other, overlapping each other. Bringing up those and hook them. If we're going to go around and around a basket without starting and stopping each row, we would have to have an odd number of spokes. There, I'm all the way around. I'm going to use my green dyed reed. Make sure that my right side is out. I want to start with a flat end, so I'm just going to cut off that end and make it nice and flat. I'm going to start this as the basket faces you. The heart shape comes down here, your point's down here. Start your weaving over here on the left side. And again, we go back to our original pattern on the bottom. Find the one. This one goes over. Let's see, this one is under, so I'm going to start over up here. Slip it under there. It's a little bit easier. Okay, we're not going to start with a flat end. I take that back. We're going to start with a tapered end. Give me a taper on this for about 2 inches. Can you see that taper that I did for about 2 inches? Then come in here, start on an over one, and weave. When you come to your corners, you're going to take off your pins, go around, make sure your right side is up. Now my right side is up. Clip that there. Pin up our corner again. We need to pin the corner up for about 3-4 rows. And we're going to weave around. Careful you don't pull your corners too tight. Come around the corner and pin it up. Kind of hold it together. Looks really sloppy right now. There's nothing I can do about it till I get that second, third row going, and then I can straighten it up. Now this gets a little tricky in here. Make sure you don't pull this little indentation in. This is the center of our heart. Make sure you don't get these confused. Keep that over and under weave pattern going. And hopefully when we get to the other side we won't have made a mistake. But if you do, simply take it out and we'll start over again. You need lots of clothespins. You know, basket weaving, it used to be the men that were the masters, and the women have taken it over nowadays, but the men were our masters. Okay, this end has slipped apart. Let's see. Backtrack here and reweave it. That's hard to say, reweave it in. Okay. Now, because I have an even number of spokes, if I was to keep weaving, I would be on the very same pattern that I started with. So what I have to do, let me show you an example here. There, I'm back on the same pattern I started with. There's nothing to hold the basket together. So what I have to do at this point is go over 2. This is where I started. I'm over right here. I'm going over these 2. And then I'll be on the opposite pattern again. And what we're creating here, let me show you on our basket here. What we're creating here is this spiral that's going up the side here. Can you see that? See the spiral going up the side? It goes all the way around up into here. Come back to our weaving. Now this row will start holding itself down a little more. That first row really looks sloppy, but the second row will kind of help draw it in together. Keep your corners together. Here we come to another corner. Careful you don't draw your corners in too tight, as I've done here, so I'm going to have to go back and give myself some room on this corner. Just straighten it out. Work on that corner. That's what I'm trying to do, is work on this corner because I pulled my first row tight. Put my corners back up. Keep right on going. And do it in here. You won't have to hurry your baskets as fast as I am. Take your time at it. Make them nice and neat. Keep them pushed down. Right in here it gets a little tight to work. Just take your time. Try to be real careful you don't catch something in here you shouldn't. Make sure you keep them straight. When we get into the next row, we'll want to make sure we keep our spokes going straight up and down. Come back in here and play with this a little bit till we get that to lay nicely. Put your clamp back on. Now it's starting to take a better shape for me here. The spokes are starting to stand up. We're almost back to starting of our third row. Careful on those corners, you don't pull them too tight. I had a tendency to do that just now. Okay, now we're back to where we started. I won't have to start and stop, but I've got to go over 2. Okay, here I'm going to go, I went over these 2 to begin with, so now this time I'm going to go over this 2 last time, this one and this one this time. These 2 last time, pick up this one and this one this time. My third row, my corners should start holding together a little bit better here. I'm still going to clip this row. Okay, this will start going faster. Start pushing this in, building the corner, the sides up straight. Start working on your spokes, keeping your spokes straight up and down. Again, careful you don't pull that corner too tight. Pack them in tight. Pack each row in tight. We can start leaving our corners, our pins off the corners now. When I get back to my spiral there, I'm going to pick up one from the last 2 that I went over and the next one to it, to the left, to the right, pardon me, to the right. Watch in here again. Push these down, pack them in so the rows are in there tight. We don't want gaps between our rows. Push them down. They'll have a tendency to pull up on the corners. That's where you really have to watch it. Push them down in there. Another corner to do. If I take and add a stain to this, when I get it all finished, and I stain over my green dyed reed, it'll make it look very antiquish and be very pretty. Make it look old. Okay, I'm back to my spiral again. These are the first 2 I went over. This is the second 2 I went over. Now this will be the third set that I'm going over, and over 2. That spiral will continue to go around the basket. Starting over here on the left, you want it to come across the front and it's going to end on the right. We're going to put in several rows, probably somewhere between 10 and 15 rows, depending on how high you want your basket to be, how deep you want it. And we're going to keep right on going. Okay, it's got a good start on it there. This is one that I've done in brown and the natural. It's been stuffed in the bucket, so it's kind of out of shape, but that's no problem. We'll talk about shaping a basket. Remember in our last patterns what we did is if it was on the behind a weaver, it gets cut off. If it's in front of a weaver, a spoke comes up and is in front of a weaver, it's going to get a point on it and tuck down into the basket. When you're doing this, because we are doing the spiral up here in the front, you're going to have two together. You're going to have two spokes that are going to be behind. Pardon me, two spokes that are going to be in front of the weavers, and so they're both going to tuck. When you get over here, you're going to have two that are, both of these will be behind, and they're going to be cut off. Remember, you skip over one weaver, and you tuck down into 2 or 3. Same over here, skip over one weaver, tuck down into 2 or 3. Very same pattern. This one's a little bit tattered. We'll try to tuck it in there the best we can. We can come back here, tuck it in down tight as you can, and come back here, and we're going to trim this off, those kind of fuzzy hairs. Now we're ready to put on our rim. Instead of using the flat oval, we're going to use just our flat on this rim. Because it's a smaller basket, it doesn't need a lot of strength on the rim, but we do want the right side out. We want a nice flat end here, so cut this off and give it a good flat edge. Right side out, we're going to start and wrap this around the basket, following the heart shape. About every 6-8 inches or so, we're going to put a clip. Definitely need one here in the point. Want to get a good point up there. We're going to overlap this a couple of inches. No need to whittle any off this time. Come over here and let's start on the opposite side, and we're going to work the rim around this way. Let's put a pin up here. We're going to go over our lashing again to make sure you understand how to start that. It's something you probably, if you get it the first time, you're going to be doing real well. Overlap, back to where I started, overlap a couple inches and simply trim it off. Just a note too that I just thought of, if you have, while you're weaving, you have some short pieces left, be sure and save them because you can use them for trim work in other baskets of the colored reed. We're using 1/4 inch flat for our lashing. I have an extremely long piece here, so I think I'm going to cut it. I know I don't need that much length to it. Don't forget your point on the end. Find the right side. The right side is going to come in and face the basket. I'm going to start up here because I have an overlap here. I have an overlap here and an overlap on the other side of the basket, so I'm going to start my lashing up here. Remember, the right side faces the basket. Pull it up from the bottom, going between the rim and the basket. Circle around and go down. Something that will come to you. You'll be able to do it naturally after you've done a few baskets. Come in here. You should have 2 rows underneath the rim, so kind of lift it up and check it. Make sure there's 2 rows under there. Open up between your 2nd and 3rd row and insert that back so it's coming back into the center. Then come in here and do the very same thing again. The 1/4 inch or the 1/2 inch flat is easier to work with than the flat oval, so you can kind of lift up these edges and slide them right in. Now my right side is up. I'm going to cross on the top of every one of my spokes. Remember, I have to straighten this all out. When I get to the other end, I'm going to put a point on it so it'll travel easier for me. Come in here. I know this is a lot of length to work with and it's going to get tangled, but you really need it. You may have to use your flathead screwdriver. Open that up and insert that in. Now again, I start this in so I don't have to go through that straightening out process each time. Give it a pull, come back and pull this one. It's going to get tangled on you, so just take a minute and straighten it out. This one's tangled. Okay, you may have to pull it out if you can't work out the tangle. Pull it out and start. There we go, untangling it again. Come back and give it a pull here. that happens, just take your time. You'll be working at home by yourself. There won't be any reason to hurry along and do it. And each step you're learning a little bit on and you're developing your skills. If I seem to weave fast sometimes, keep in mind that I've been weaving for nearly 6 years. And you do develop some fast skills after you've woven that long. Watch out it doesn't tangle on you. Pull each one of these tight. If I wanted to double lash this top, I would simply go around, all the way around, come back to where I started, just double back, go in the same holes I went in before, and double lash. Then just go ahead and finish your lashing, end it the very same way that we started it. And next time we get together, we'll be working on some fancy handles for our baskets. I've really enjoyed weaving with you today. Before we go though, I'd like to give you the cut pattern for the small basket and the large basket because we made the medium one in class today. The cut pattern for these, it's all the same material that we've used before. The cut pattern on them. For the large size basket, the cut pattern is 36 pieces, 36 inches long. Everything else is the same. For the small basket, everything will be the same except the cut pattern is going to be 12 pieces, 12 inches long. The material is all the same as we used on this one here. I've really enjoyed working with you today. I hope to see you again next time. Thank you.